things that they need to both go after the Assad government, but also to have the Iranians and the Russians pay a little price, right? When we were in Iraq, the Iranians were giving weapons to the Shia militia who were killing American soldiers, right? The Iranians were making us pay a price. We need to make the Iranians pay a price in Syria. We need to make the Russians pay a price. The other thing I would do...
We make them pay the price by killing Russians?
Yes.
And killing Iranians?
Yes. Covertly. So you don't tell the world about it, right? You don't stand up at the Pentagon and say we did this, right? But you make sure they know it in Moscow and Tehran. Here's the other thing I want to do. I want to go after those things that Assad sees as his personal power base, right? I want to scare Assad. So I want to go after his presidential guard. I want to bomb his offices in the middle of the night.
Well, that happened about 2 years ago, as you remember, when his brother-in-law was...
I want to destroy his presidential aircraft on the ground. I want to destroy his presidential helicopters. I want to make him think we're coming after him, right? I'm not advocating assassinating him. I'm not advocating that. I'm advocating going after what he thinks is his power base, right, and what he needs to survive. I want him to think about, this is not going to end well for me, right?
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutation to the Yakim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. What you just seen right there is former Deputy Director Mike Morell's statement out that the CIA is in the game to kill Russians, kill Iranians, and kill Assad. Well, not Assad, but his power base. And this is the nature of the so-called white man. So let me get to a scripture. Salakia. Delete this. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Right? So, on the outside, you have the Pentagon, mainstream media, politicians talk about, we need to build diplomatic relations with the Russians, the Iranians, okay, with not as well as other various countries. That's on the outside, but with internal, they're out there doing assassination attempts. They're out there trying to blow things up, as you can see from this CIA former CIA deputy. They're in the process of trying to kill as many of these other nations as possible. All right. So right here, once again, Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And that's the nature of the so-called white man. That's the nature of Esau. Okay. He loves war. All right. And as you can see, these CIA operatives, okay, they're in the business of creating nothing but havoc on the planet. Continue, it says, his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. That's right. Because they're going to do whatever they can to continue to push forward in their agenda of going to conquering and going to war with these other nations. So now let me go bring out an article. This is from Sputnik News. It says, what's behind ex-CIA chief's calls to kill Russians in Syria? Jalazadeh stressed that Morell's statements could have been triggered by these various factors. Quote, the first one is clearly increasing tensions in U.S.-Russian relations. Disputes and controversies in political arena on a variety of issues have only increased, the expert said. According to Jalazadeh, when Obama came to power, his foreign policy program was aimed at restarting relations with Russia and minimizing existing differences in political views, which is a lie because, again, scriptures say otherwise, that war is in his heart and, and his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So, okay, which is a straight-up lie. Obama didn't want peace whatsoever. But over time, U.S. president seems to have forgotten about his plans, especially after the beginning of the Ukrainian crisis and the Crimean issue. Quote, such rigid statements made by Michael Morell could also be explained by the fact that the U.S. is now in the middle of the presidential race. That is why Morell does not mince his words and sometimes says crazy things about Donald Trump, calling him Putin's agent. end quote, the expert explained. All right. Goes on and says, however, these hard and inappropriate remarks could also be connected with the changing political area in the Middle East. According to Jalal Zadeh, Morell's statements could signify the weakening of the U.S. position in the region. That's right, because right now Russia and Iran are just, and Syria, okay, the East factor of all these nations, the Eastern Hemisphere, are just dominating the Middle East. I mean, these rebels are getting destroyed that America keeps supplying by Russia and Iran. Quote, after Iran and Russia set up a tactic alliance during the Syrian crisis, the West and the so-called opposition of Bashar al-Assad have mired in the crisis even more, especially when Russia and Iran jointly carried out successful operations to destroy the terrorists. All right, and who are these terrorists? They're backed by the CIA. You have your rebels, al-Nusra Front, so on and so forth. So let me get another scripture. Psalms 55:11. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. That's right. And wickedness is in the midst of America, okay, and the rest of the world. And deceit and guile depart not from her streets, which is America. But if you look at it, the whole world, because not only is America involved in espionage and covert operations, the Russians are too. Let's get to another article. Russia bombed base in Syria used by U.S. This is from the Wall Street Journal. When Russian aircraft bombed a remote garrison in southeastern Syria last month, alarm bells sounded at the Pentagon and the Ministry of Defense in London. Okay, the Russians weren't bombarding a run-of-the-mill rebel outpost, according to U.S. officials. Their target was a secret base of operations for elite American and British forces. In fact, a contingent of about 20 British special forces had pulled out of the garrison 24 hours earlier. British officials declined to comment. All right, so you're having now the Russians covertly bombing the U.S. and British forces, okay, in Syria. They already built a base and a compound. So what's going on is this covert attacks amongst these nations in secret. Because why is that? Because they don't want to alarm the world. They don't want to alarm the rest of the world of these that these nations are in the game and they are fighting each other, but in secret. So this is once again. Let's get back to the scripture. It says, "Wickedness in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from her streets." All right, because wickedness is in the midst thereof, and this is all scriptural. This is all the Lord's doing to bring out prophecy. All right. So let's get another scripture before I get to the last one. Iran is ready to attack Israel. The tension between Israel and Iran appeared to be heightening. Hossein Salmin, deputy commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, recently said, and this is from the Huffington Post. This came out August 7, 2016. Quote, Hezbollah has 100,000 missiles that are ready to hit Israel to liberate the occupied Palestinian territories if the Zionist regime repeats its past mistakes, end quote. All right. He added today, quote, today the grounds for annihilation and collapse of the Zionist regime are present more than ever, end quote. Salih warned that if Israel made the wrong move, it would come under attack. There you go. So you have all these nations, okay, covertly in the midst of destroying each other, while on the outside they're preaching peace and safety. In fact, I believe that's us. Thessalonians. Let me get that real quickly. Thessalonians, peace and safety. Peace is safety. Then 1 Thessalonians 5:3. All right. So let me get that. Salakia, spare with me one moment. All right. Just real quickly. Let's blow this up. So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, so on the outside you got the news media, the United Nations, okay, you have all these institutions talk about, we're just trying to build peace and safety, diplomatic relations, okay, but in the inside, then sudden destruction come up upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. That's right, because World War III is going to happen. You can't stop it, all right? You can't stop World War III. And this is on. Let me get back to this article from Sputnik News, because this is a beautiful what is happening in the diplomatic relations. Now Turkey and Russia are trying to mend together, and they're trying to build a peace, sort of say, from what had happened in the past. So they want to now join hands with each other. So let's get back to this. The article says, the victory and success of Russian anti-terrorist military operations in Syria, including those near Aleppo, have been a blow to the ego of the West. Another reason for the anger and resentment of the West is President Erdogan changing his political course after the recent coup attempt. His course is now aimed at reviving strategic cooperation with Russia and Turkey's eastern neighbors and not with the West. Erdogan said that he does not see Turkey as an important player in political alliance under the U.S. leadership. There you go. So right there, you're having now Turkey moving away from the West and now wanting to go to the east with Russia, all right, and build that peace, so to say. But that's into their own demise, because there's going to be World War III is going to happen. So once again, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And last scripture, and why is this happening? This is the Lord's doing. Like I said, the Lord is putting a spirit in these devils, these so-called white people, Esau, these Edomites, and these other nations to go to war with each other. All right. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, starting at 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. All right. And these Gentiles are these heathen nations. Okay. All these other nations outside of Israel. Okay. The true nation Israel, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Where they draw near? The Middle East. Okay. Okay. Let them come up. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. That's right, because, this is a metaphoric at, plowshares and pruning hooks were our tools to just get food and take care of each other, and not draw near into war or battle. But the Lord is like, no, take those plowshares, take those pruning hooks, and make them into weapons, because you're going to go fight wars. You're going to go fight for in the Armageddon, the final World War III. Let the weak say, I am strong. That's right. You got Russia now rising up. You got Iran now rising up. You got Turkey. You got Syria. You got China. All these nations are rising up. And they're looking at America like, you're a piece of shit now. We don't give a damn what you got to say. Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Gather yourselves together round about, to the cause thy mighty ones to come down. All right. Once again, oh Lord. So right now the Lord's pushing all these nations to go to war with each other. Verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat means the valley of the Lord's judgment, the valley of judgment. Okay. For there, Shaphat. Okay. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. That's right, the wickedness of you so-called white people. The wickedness of you Edomites, okay, and all you other nations. That's why the war is gathering you together to go kill each other, okay, for your judgment. Verse 14, multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And that's there in the Middle East. And it's going to be the valley of decision. Because when the wars pop off, okay, Russia's gonna have no choice but to start lobbing nukes at you Americans here in Babylon, America, all right, and you 2/3 Jakes that don't want to get right. So right there, just more proof in the pudding that these nations are getting ready. You got the CIA doing covert ops, killing Russians. You got the Russians bombing secret bases that are that had American, British forces in them in the Middle East. So the war is here. It's just it's secret. It's all covertly, okay. And if you're not spiritual, you can't really. If the Lord didn't bless you to have these eyes to see, you're just going to continue going on with this world's bullshit agenda and get caught up in the midst of this, okay? Because war is here. And with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And on 3, 1, 2, 3, death to America.